We are live, but before we get started, want to make sure we have all of our platforms included for tonight's discussion. Just waiting on all the green check marks to come on through. All right, and looks like we are good. Welcome in, everyone, to another installment of the Orange and Blue View. I am one of your hosts, Ron White. You may see, well, you do see a different face on the other side of me. We have my man here filling in for Dylan, Mr. Kenneth Booker. Thank you for filling in, Kenneth, once again. I appreciate you joining me. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good. Running a little low on sleep. Got off work at 7 this morning. Decided to go check out that Palisade Peach Festival in was it Lafayette? And go with some friends. Came back for a couple hours of sleep, and now I'm back to some Broncos, and I'm totally fine with it. Totally fine with a little sleep for some Bronco talk. Broncos are always good for me.
Yes, it's always a Broncos party, Broncos country. Yes, so it's always good to talk and have all of you here joining us tonight. Before we get into some topics, guys, obviously we're going to talk about tomorrow's matchup, some of the key players, some of the battles to watch, how Bo Nix can improve, things like that. Before we get into all that, let's just say a hello to a few folks in the chat. We got C. Chang coming in. Thank you. He says, happy Saturday. Let's go Broncos. Let's win. Yes, C. Chang. Go Broncos. Get another victory. Now, I know you say it's preseason. The victory is meaningless. But at the same time, it's a victory nonetheless. So I always want to win. And I think everyone says the same thing here, Kenneth. So, but I know, obviously, the players kind of getting the best assessment as you can of players, especially obviously the starters, who's going to make that final cut for the 53 is important. But it was good to get the win last week against the Colts, and it would be nice to get another win again, having Bo take that next step.
Definitely. This is going to be one of the ones where last games you'll see a lot of the starters. I'm just excited to see if Bo Nix can do it 2 games in a row, and I'm also excited to see if Zach Wilson can do it 2 games in a row. But I'm just happy the Broncos are back. I'll watch them play ping pong all day. I don't have anything to watch the Broncos.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you again, C. Chang. We got Daniel Berry Sports Highlights saying, yo to you too. Thank you. Coming in. Let's see who else we have here. Yeah. Got Graham ID coming in. Thank you. Good evening, fellas. Good evening to you as well. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. And we got Mike S coming in. Thank you, Mike. It's always good to see you in the chat, my guy. It says, what's up, Ron, Ken, Scott, and Broncos Country? What's up with you too, Scott? Oh, Mike, hopefully you're doing well on this Saturday. All right, let's see who else. We got Howie freaking Day coming in. Thank you, Howie, from Facebook. We appreciate it for coming in. Thank you.
Adam
and then we got Adam. What's up, Bronco Maniacs? What's up with you, Adam? Thank you for coming in, my guy. We appreciate it. All right, Kenneth. So let's start with some of the players for tomorrow's game. So just it's an FYI to everyone out here. The Broncos do have a game tomorrow. The Sunday night matchup against the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, the Green Bay Packers are already in town. They've had joint practices, which, that definitely favored the Broncos from what I've seen.
Oh, definitely.
Yesterday. But I guess we can start with maybe some of the players and who are you looking to see Like who do you want to kind of jump out, on your TV screen as the Broncos get closer to kind of, trimming the fat on this roster and getting down to that 53? Who's the first player on your list?
So the surprising one is Zach Wilson, to see if he can play it 2 games in a row. He can be consistent. He can continue to impress the coaches, and he's got a little bit on his side with his contract being much smaller than Jared Stidham. If they're anywhere close, I think they lean towards Zach Wilson just to save that extra cash. The same thing to go with P. Ryan. If he has another interception or fumble, it's game over for him, even though he's a very productive back and had some pretty bad luck on that last one. But I just want to see if they're going to move on from those 2 to get some room for a midseason free agent signing if we play well. The other 2 guys would be Baron Browning, just to see if he continue to cause havoc in the backfield and stay healthy, and Damari Mathis against Riley Moss, because all momentum is swinging towards Riley Moss's way, and they love him over there. But I'm still holding out for Damari. Coming out of college, he was ranked similar to Sauce Gardner. The only difference was Damari was hurt a lot of his college career. So he slipped down to us, but we'll see if he can rechannel some of that first year, minus that first game, I guess, ability to just be in a receiver's hip pocket every step of the way. So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zach Wilson, and I would say if you are Zach Wilson, Ken, you should be happy. I mean, the Broncos and the Broncos should be happy as well, given what Zach Wilson has done. Now, I know camp kind of started out a little rocky for him, but I would say over the past several days, he has tremendously improved. You saw him move the ball when he was when he was out there for the Colts last week. He moved the ball well, made some good decisions. And so you could only like what you see, if you're Sean Payton. Because we all know it was very risky.
Yeah.
Bringing over the number 2 overall pick, who, let's face it, granted, he did not play well at the Jets, but he wasn't surrounded, with great coaching and a good foundation there with the Jets either. So it was a little bit circumstantial there. But, Sean Payton, the Broncos take him under their wing, and he comes in and, he is competing for this backup job. And you mentioned the point of, him, still taking those steps forward. Now, I still think that, they're still going to keep all 3. So that's Stidham, Wilson, and Bo Nix. But let's just say, as practices as it goes along, if Wilson still does kind of do well, then maybe they look into possibly moving to Stidham later on. Because you're right, they saved $5 million that they would save, if they move on from Stidham. So that money elsewhere. But again, they can only be encouraged by what they've seen with Zach Wilson for sure. So I'm interested in seeing him to see kind of what he provides. My first player that I'm looking forward to seeing is Troy Franklin. I really just want to see if he kind of can get his mind right, Ken. If he can, I think a lot of it is with him. It's very mental. There are a lot of the drops. Obviously, there's the rumblings of yelling. The coaches yelling, at training camp and things like that. So if he can kind of get his mind right, if he can catch the ball, clean up the things with the catches. And I also want to see, depending on how much he's out there, how he matches up with some of these, these more physical corners, how he handles it in press coverage. Because, he does have a skinny frame. So, and there's not really much to the route tree right now, but I think that's something that also needs to be expanded. So I'm looking to see if he can somewhat kind of get it out of his head, if you will, and just go out there and perform as best as he can. Because, fourth round pick, you would expect for him to be a little bit further ahead than what he is. But now you have Devon Bailey, looking very, very efficient and very competent out there, surpassing him. So I'm just looking to see, what he can do and if he does have that big play ability out there tomorrow.
Yeah, I'd like to see them try to stretch the field with him to see how he's able to separate himself. If he can do that for a big catch, it saves him another game. It gives them something more to think about. But maybe the only thing that's keeping him around in good favor is just the draft capital they used to trade up to get him. Because anybody out, if that would have been Vele instead of him, and we would already be like, yeah, that guy's either out the door or he's definitely headed to a practice squad. So I'm rooting for him. I love those fast guys because they have those plays every once in a while. Anybody else would be caught and they turn it into a 70-yard touchdown. And I was excited for him, and I'm rooting for him, but everything is it's not looking that great for him. So we'll see. Hopefully, he can turn it around now.
Yes. Now it's time to go with our presenting sponsor for tonight, which is Mint Mobile. So with the big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying actually increases a lot. So with Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about these gotchas that come on your bill. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. So say bye-bye to all of your overpriced wireless plan jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages.
To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/huddle. That's mintmobile.com/huddle. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/huddle. It'll be a $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plans. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
All right. Let's see who else we have in the chat. Got Mike Davis coming in. Thank you, Mike. Says, not gonna lie, it's so nice not hearing Judy come up in camp conversations. And then he also adds here, we'll get to that one, Mike. That's a good one. Vele and Patrick's return has created a bright spot so big, there's no comparison. Yeah, so going on your first one about Judy, yes, it is, it is nice to not hear his name and to hear, well, first of all, the fact that Tim Patrick is back, Ken, is so, I love it. And, I know you remember that penalty he had last week. Part of me is just like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have, but at the same time, it's like, the guy is just so fired up. He hasn't seen the field in live action football in 2 years with all the injuries. So it's like, you give him a little bit of a pass, guys. That's kind of how I felt there. But I will say it was so good to see him out there. And with Vele, the guy is just making these spectacular catches. Obviously, they're building that trust. Knicks and Vele, we see it in camp, and we saw it last week. So yeah, you're right, Mike. That the fact that those two, the return of Patrick, and just the rise, the star rise, or the rising of Vele, I think is really kind of opening up this wide receiver room, and again, do we have another potential playmaker with Vele? I mean, it looks like that's in the making, but only time will tell.
Yeah, and it's like maybe Vele's big thing over Franklin is he's got Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton as like mentors essentially, where there's not really a veteran speed guy on our squad to help out Franklin. But yeah, Vele's been looking super impressive. I feel like he's one of those guys. He's got a chance to be on the team for a while. The way he's playing, he just seems like a lunch pail guy. He seems like a Tim Patrick, a younger Tim Patrick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, very much so.
And then for the Judy thing, I used to make this running joke where it was like every time I tried to call Jerry Judy, the call kept getting dropped. He has butterfingers. That guy could be 100 reception a year guy. He just can't get open, and then or he just can't hold on to the ball. And then Russell Wilson just couldn't find him. I don't know. He's one of those guys. Even if he drops it, you just got to keep feeding him it. But his attitude, he just seemed like such a downer in the locker room. Like you just didn't want to be around him. If they weren't winning, he just wasn't. I mean, nobody's pleasant when you're not winning, but he seems like a guy that would point at other people instead of himself. But
yeah, no accountability. Yeah, it was like no accountability with Judy. It's there are a lot of things were his fault. Like you said, the drops. I think there were a few plays where he would reach out for the touchdown. 1 foot out of bounds. So it's like the little things, the small things that matter.
Even his 3 touchdown game against Kansas City, he should have been thrown out earlier in that game. He shoved the referee out of the way, and I was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And the ref just let it slide, and he ended up going off, and we almost beat KC that game. But yeah, he was just all over the place. I like these guys are much more level-headed. At least our veteran guys. But yeah, Judy was, man, what a waste! What a waste of a pick.
Yeah, first round pick if that. But on to greener pastures again. Vele seems like the potential's there. And again, hopefully with Troy Franklin, we can get something. But again, thank you, Mike, for coming in with the comments, man. We appreciate you, my guy. Let's see. We got the original Dizzy D coming in. Thank you. Says Bo Nix is bringing that hashtag Big Duck energy, yes, to the Broncos.
Oh, wow. I can't believe I clicked on that now.
We are going to be a problem for the other teams. Hashtag Mile High. So, yeah. So, thank you again, for Dizzy D for the comment. We appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, what you've seen so far from Nix, Ken, and then we'll get to you, Mike, in a second here. But what we've seen so far from Nix, Ken, is I think it's really what Sean Payton wanted. I mean, again, the ball comes out quick. So on schedule, on time. He's hitting the wide open receivers. Now, obviously, no game's perfect. No quarterback is perfect. So you did see a few things last week that he can clean up. Now that the footwork is one.
I did.
Not resetting the feet. He got a little jumpy there in the pocket. He took off prematurely a few times. So I just would like for him to step up and set his feet a little more. But that'll come with obviously more time, more reps. But that pass, I think it was that third down to Sutton on the sideline. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was nice. And I think he had to run because that pocket was collapsing a bit. So he had to escape out to the left to deliver that pass. That was beautiful. Yeah, awesome. And he should have had 2 touchdowns if Josh Reynolds catches that ball in the end zone. Right. That ball was beautiful. That was a beautifully thrown ball.
I really appreciated how the national news was still showing that play to say that, hey, he should have had another touchdown.
Yeah, for sure. But you could only be, and again, a few plays. I think it was was it on the first drive where he shot that ball in there to Dulcich?
Oh,
Yeah, you don't want to do things like that.
I'm so
Um,
happy that Dolces is still with us.
that's still there. Yeah, yeah. So again, I think with that was, he was a little nervous, trying to get the jitters out of him, things like that. So that's kind of where I see that. But you saw him settle in. After that, after those first kind of you know few passes, you saw him settle in and kind of take control of the huddle and the offense. So I think while again, there are a few things that he can work on, as I just alluded to,
Mhm.
but you could only be encouraged by what you saw.
Yeah, that for him having all those issues with his feet and still producing at what he produced is impressive. So just to see him once he gets that footwork down, it's like a whole nother level of accuracy and timing and getting it just in the right spot for everybody. Because a couple of those ones, like they were saying, were short because his feet weren't set.
Yep.
But if this is like the low part of him messing up, it's only gonna get better. He seems to be. It's weird. The moment isn't too big for him. He's like, okay,
Right.
I see what they did here. I'm gonna do this now instead of just like, I don't know what to do. They're coming from everywhere. He was kind of doing that when he was trying to get the ball out too fast. I think he was more. Maybe it wasn't the right play, but it was a positive. He was looking for positive yards if at anything he can get to make that very next play that much easier or open his range of plays that they could call for that situation. But yeah, I wasn't like I was like Eric. I wanted them to get him in the second round, and the Falcons kind of ruined that for us when they took Penix. The Raiders were most likely going to take him later, right after us. So, but he's definitely playing where his draft position was, and it's really encouraging to see.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And we got Mike S. Thank you, Mike, for coming in. It says Broncos should prioritize the inside linebacker position. What do you think on this one, Ken? What are your thoughts on the the inside linebacker room as it stands right now?
Singleton's running around with his hair on fire. He's not. He's a good linebacker. He's not premier, but he's definitely going to do his job, controlling the defense, orchestrating everything they're doing. He's got great instincts, but the coverage thing, he does as good as he can. Jonah Ellis, Jonah Griffith, sorry, looked a little lost out there. They were talking about how he was biting on a lot of play action. But he's been around. Maybe it's just he hasn't been in a while. The nerves got to him. He just needs to see the game film and see how he does in this next game. I'm hopeful, but I just want serviceable play out of those guys. I don't need anything spectacular. I just can't have them getting targeted every single play. So we'll see what improvements they made. I mean, we had two inside guys, and they moved them to the outside too. We had Drew Sanders and we had Baron Browning, and they're definitely better on the outside, but it would have been nice to see those guys as our middle linebackers or inside linebackers.
Yeah, I agree with you in this regard. The Broncos are missing that dynamic coverage inside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that should have been a little bit more. That should have been a little bit more of a priority. Now, that's not to say Jonas Griffiths can't come on the field and do that, because he does have the athleticism for it.
Mm-hmm.
I just, again, him coming from that injury, I don't know, how much of that you're going to get. I don't know how good he's going to be when it comes to the coverage portion. I mean, I like Alex Singleton, tackling machine. Now, when he does get the tackle, he gets it, but when he misses badly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I would say overall, Alex Singleton is, better than good. I would say above average, good, solid tackling guy. numerous tackles over the past few seasons. Um, but having that dynamic one in coverage, that Swiss Army knife inside linebacker. I think of the Roquan Smiths, obviously the Fred Warners of the world. That's not on the Broncos team, but I think yeah, Mike, having that as a little bit more of a priority would have been good, but I think right now, based on how they're going to be playing with this defense, it may not. I think that's how they were looking at it with this. Some of these nine packages, it may not be as big, prioritizing that inside linebacker position. But it would be nice to have that in coverage because the tight end position of opposing teams have been killing the Broncos for years.
Oh yeah.
Kelsey and who's on the Raiders now? Well, it's going to be Brock Bowers, and then was it Mayer Waller for those years as well? Yeah. So that's in my mind. That's why I'm like, it should be more of a priority, but I don't know. We'll see kind of how Vance Joseph.
That's why I wanted with the Jeremiah
Owusu-Komoro.
Yeah, I was interested in him for like a coverage safety / linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's still playing. I really don't hear his name too much. I'm pretty sure he's playing pretty well, but
yeah, I think he just got extended, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
From Cleveland, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's rough losing Justin Simmons because he was our help out with those Travis Kelce's and stuff like that, and he played really well against that, and he played really well against Patrick Mahomes, and now we just don't have anybody that's anywhere near that level in coverage. Besides Sertan, I'd put him in a whole nother level, but yeah, we'll see how it is. It's going to be a system, but our system, I guess, apparently is looking good. They were saying it's the best thing about our team in these joint practices that they've been all over the field. They almost picked off Jordan Love 4 times. I think they got him once. So if they can get the pressure and they're still NFL players. If you can get a ball that's kind of wobbly or off target and you're there and you're a defender, you should pick it off. So we'll see how their pass rush is and their interior push as well to give those guys on the back end a little.
Yeah, and I'm going to hop back on that, but I'm going to get back to the chat because that's a great point, kid. Let's see. We got Roy Osborne coming in from Facebook. Thank you, Roy. We appreciate it, my guy. Says, hey there, Ron and KB. How are you having? Hope you're having a good weekend. I foresee struggles on contrary to what other people say. Okay. Roy, you might be right. Now, I do think that they're going to be struggles. They're going to be struggles on defense. They're going to be struggles with Knicks. I think with the rookie quarterback, that's to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
But that you still have to start them, with Knicks. Knicks still has to be out in the field because there's no better education than actually going through it and experiencing it. So the sooner you can get Knicks out on the field, the better he can, kind of learn, adapt to these defenses, all these exotic looks. And then that'll even set him up to be, better quarterback as the season progresses. He might hit a wall near the beginning, but, he may end up being good the rest of the season. Or, so you just never know how it's going to shake out. But I do expect some struggles from Knicks for sure. Because, again, he is a rookie. And although I like what I've seen and heard, KB, about the defense, I'm still a little hesitant. Vance Joseph still has me hesitant. I'm going to be honest with you. That's really what it is.
I thought you were going to say Vance Joseph is still Vance Joseph.
yeah, that's why I'm hesitant. Because I just again, I like what again they're flying around. As you mentioned, they got to Jordan Love quite a bit in yesterday's practice. They were flying around the ball. Looks like the defensive line, especially the interior, is just causing havoc. Riley Moss and Demari Mathers are out there looking pretty good. So I like what I'm hearing. But then again, will I get the same result when it's translated, to real life football when the games count?
Well,
And that's where I just don't know. And that's kind of where I'm still doubtful with Vance Joseph. I don't know if he's going to put this team in those positions to make a play. Now, if the Broncos can go, remember they had that 5-game win streak last year. If they can, that was luck. But if they can have some sort of semblance of that, getting some turnovers, causing pressure, I think, I can buy it a little bit more. But I don't know. I just I think Vance Joseph still has me still a little bit weary when it comes to this defense.
They had talked about that joint practice too, that it might not have been. I mean, Vance Joseph definitely has a part in it. He's calling the plays, but that they were so embarrassed from last year's joint practice, that how they came out flat against the Rams, and they just looked terrible. And they were talking about how they were like, not this year. We're going to come out way more physical. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it's a combination of Vance Joseph and energized players that helped it out. But yeah, we'll see how it pans out. But the other thing I wanted to see was we were talking about Zach Wilson, was how he reacts to having a good game. Is he going to be? Was there no pressure the first one, and that's why he was able to play so loose? Is he going to have a ton of pressure because he played well, and he has to play well in this game if he wants to stay on the team? Mm-hmm. So I want to see how he reacts. If he folds, if he just overthinks stuff, holds on to the ball too long, and then tries to force things, trying to make up for mistakes earlier in the drive. So I'm excited for that one as well. But yeah, the defense. If the defense can play well, Aruzarike, I heard he was kind of dominating Quinn Miners and a couple of the other offensive linemen in some practices. So that's another one. That would be so nice if we can get him playing really well. Because that's something we just didn't have for.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up and you made Aruzarike, because that's my next player. So I'm looking forward to seeing. He didn't play against the Colts, but I'm looking forward to seeing how, he plays in this game. And, it was reported that, he was still in shape even during the suspension. He didn't really lose much of a step. I'm curious to see if that still remains, and he still use that size to stop the run, because, he was good with stopping the run. I obviously he's also competing against Matt Henningsen, Elijah Garcia. So what will he look like, there, knowing that he's in battle for a key roster spot? So yeah, but I've been hearing good things as well, Ken, and I want to see how he kind of pops on the defensive line and can make the team for sure.
Yeah, hopefully he turns into a pot roast where we didn't expect him, and he just causes havoc.
Yes. Yep, for sure. But thank you, Roy, for that. We appreciate that comment. Let's see. We got Phil McLaughlin coming in. Thank you, Phil, from Facebook. We appreciate you, my guy, for coming in as always. He says, "Good evening, Ron and Ken. It's fun watching Wilson holding the ball too long for another team." I do see a few comments in here about his Steelers play here, so it's the same old Russ. So I guess we're not surprised.
Is that his twin brother that's never played football, and Russ is like really in like the Maldives somewhere, just kind of relaxing? Because it's like a completely different dude.
Oh man,
he's able to make something out of nothing all the time, and now he makes, He just doesn't. He's just a completely different guy. I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
Give us our money back, though.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, it's. I don't know what to say with Russ, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had
I don't
so
know. Well,
much.
I'm curious to see this matchup. When they come to Denver week 2, that's gonna be a show.
Technically, that could have happened to us with Peyton Manning. Like, we had no idea about his injuries, but Peyton Manning came back and threw 55 touchdowns, even though it kind of fluttered out there. But he found a way to maximize what he could do and mask everything that he couldn't do. But Russ, maybe he was just still trying to do those things he used to be able to do, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But,
all right, let's see who else we
Oh,
have.
Gary Palmer.
I want to grab Todd here real quick, and then we'll get to some more. Thank you, Todd, for coming in. Because I could see keeping 2 tight ends and maybe add Cole to the practice squad. Possibly. Again, Todd, it really just depends on the roster math. Again, from the sounds of it, they may have all 3 of the quarterbacks on the roster, and obviously if they have 6 or 7 wide receivers, this is a more than likely scenario. But I mean, I know Kroll had that fumble last week. I don't know though, KB. For me, it's as far as I think the 2 tight ends that are more playmakers would be Kroll and Dulcich.
Oh,
I mean, I know Troutman's going to come in there. He's a Peyton guy, but Troutman doesn't really do much for me. I know he'll be penciled in as one of the starters for the tight end. On the 53, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Troutman fan, but yeah, I think, Todd, to your point, depending on how the math shakes out, how many quarterbacks are kept, how many wide receivers are kept, you can maybe just see the 2 tight ends with Kroll on the back as well.
Yeah, see how he can do. It's all about special teams for a lot of those guys.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
It looks like.
But yeah, thank you, Todd, for coming in.
And thank you, Todd.
We appreciate it. And we got Phil coming back in. Thank you, Phil. Says really want to see Ellis and Vele show up big this week also. Yes, for sure. Vele, definitely. I think with Vele, I think we've seen. I just kind of want to see him be consistency. I think with Vele. I mean, I don't think he can really prove much more KB than what he's done in camp. And so if he can just remain consistent, in this game, I think that's enough. But I want to see more from Ellis for sure, Phil. I know he was involved with. I think he touched. Who was it? Backup for the Colts. That interfered with had that errant throw that caused that interception.
Yeah.
So I know he had a hand in that. So kind of those plays, Phil, for sure. I want to see, more from Ellis coming off the edge.
Well, didn't he?
Did he have a sack?
I think he did. I think he was like, if you look at it per play, he showed out like crazy. I have to find it though.
Okay, I may have missed the. So he may have. I may have missed that, but
yeah, he had three total tackles and a sack.
Oh, he had a sack. Okay. So yeah, but again, I like the total tackles, the sack. That's good, but I do want to see a little bit more from him. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Phil. I agree.
Yeah, they both are making that. They're both taking advantage of the opportunity they're being given. I seen both making the team. They're just lunch pail guys who are just gonna grind out there, and if you take a playoff, they're gonna make you look bad. And they're looking to prove a point. It's exciting to see these guys. I told Eric about it yesterday. If you go back to the 97, 98 Bronco team, besides Elway, like none of those guys were drafted high. What do you got? Terrell Davis in the 6th round, Shannon Sharp in the 6th or 7th round.
7th round.
McCaffrey was bouncing around the league. Schlereth was like a 10th round guy, but he was an established guy at the time. But it was just crazy to see that lineup and how they were able to just take it to the next level and beyond. And I'd like to see one of these guys kind of sneak out of there like that. Maybe not as big, but definitely a guy that's going to be hanging around for about the next 5 to 7 years, providing a couple big plays here and there, and just and knowing their role on whatever their position is. But yeah, both those guys, I'm excited about them.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. We got Gary Palmer coming in with a super chat. It is good to see you, Gary. Thank you so much for your generosity. We appreciate it. Because I usually expect the worst, but I am all in on both. There will be adjustments, but has to run the gauntlet to get to the other side. Go Broncos. Yes, Gary, that's exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah.
He has to start sooner than later, has to go through ups and downs, ebbs, flows. You're going to get the bad with the good in order for him to really, get to a level where he's comfortable. Now, you do see him comfortable now, but even more comfortable. He has to go through that. So, there are going to be tweaks. And you saw a little preview, KB, like of, doing what Bo Nix does well. Like Sean Payton's using that, like the RPOs, the read options.
Oh yeah.
You see him taking off. So you see that, and you're like, this is definitely Payton catering to Bo Nix's strengths. So you're seeing that adjustment to your point there, Gary, of kind of he has a more athletic quarterback. Payton does now, so he can incorporate some of those things in the scheme. But yeah, he definitely does have to run through that to get to the other side and be as experienced and as comfortable as he can in his offense.
Have you noticed these college quarterbacks, when they're running in college, they're like insanely fast. When they get to the NFL, it's a little closer. I saw him turn in the corner and I was like, this guy's gonna catch him. But he did enough and he took the perfect angle to get him his extra yards, but it's insane how much faster they are now. But yeah, he's definitely got to go through the gauntlet. Like you gotta earn your keep, earn your way, and you're gonna keep seeing those things throughout your career. So you might as well get it out of the way and learn what to look for and how to attack whatever they're attacking you with. And I think that's him. We're out at home scrolling through reels on Facebook and Instagram, and he's probably just scrolling through plays. He gets his happiness out of that, and that in his family. And I'm excited for somebody who's so in the playbook, so thirsty for knowledge, and actually has the talent to match with it. Because you usually see those guys who are the guys that are barely staying in, and that's why they're staying in, is because they're so smart when it comes to the game. But they just can't stay around like a Brett Rippon. But when you have both, it's special. So we'll see, but it's looking pretty good so far. And I think he's got a proper mindset. And he has his dad at home. His dad is a former football player, former coach. So he's seen it all as well. So he's definitely got a good support group around him.
Yeah, and KB, doesn't that just, like you mentioned, the fact that he's always in the playbook? Because he talks about it. He was like, I don't have time for other things. I want to just study the playbook and learn this offense. Doesn't that just make you feel happy and relieved as a Broncos fan? Like, it's just such a sense of relief. I mean, because what we've had to endure, the the Paxton Lynch situation is the first thing that comes to mind. The guy's head wasn't in it at all. But to have a rookie come in and just be diligent, you know, determined to understand this offense and just soak up all the knowledge, everything they're throwing at him. You have to be happy. You have to be relieved as a Broncos fan. And again, that's really just a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I'm just glad he's not a Jamarcus Russell. That guy. Oh my. What did they give him? The play tape, whatever, or the game tape, and it was just a blank tape, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw it."
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. It's like, get out of here, dude. Just go home.
Oh. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, but thank you, Gary, for coming in. And then I want to shout out before we get. I see your other comment there, Gary. We'll get to let's shout out the boss for a second. The boss dropping on us. Thank you, Chad. You know we love you. Thank you for coming in. Says the Bo Nix era officially begins tomorrow. Yes, Bo Nix will get his start and his home start.
Oh yeah,
tomorrow. So. I think everyone's looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, thank you, Chad, for coming in. We appreciate it.
I was staying at a hotel for this week because they were doing the construction on my house, and I started seeing the Bronco fans started to come flooding in, and I'm like, all right. I wanted to ask them where they're all like flying from, but I'm like, they're doing their own thing, whatever. I don't want to bug them.
Yeah. All right. And Gary, we didn't forget about you. Thank you for coming back in. He says he needs to get to the point where he's not thinking, just reacting. Yeah. I mean, I think fair point, Gary. I do think that'll come with time. I think for me, the two things. It's he has to get the feet. Have to get right. I think that's the priority here. Making sure, and again, he's doing a good job of stepping up, but he needs to just make sure those feet are set. And sometimes some of the pedaling back, KB as well. I noticed that too.
Yeah.
Drifting back. Yeah. Again, that footwork as a whole needs to be improved for sure. But I think that actually factors into that, Gary, of, once you can kind of get your feet set, you can get into your stance and just kind of serve the field and just, not think, just react, So I think that's where he needs to kind of think things through once he can kind of get that. And then, and I think seeing the field as a whole, because there are a lot of open guys out there too. So I know, with some of the pressure in his face, he's not maybe seeing it all the time. So even on some of the short routes and in the flat, he may miss. But again, I think with more reps, time, I think he'll definitely kind of be thinking out there instead of just reacting. Fair point, Gary.
Were you watching that with I think was it JT something? He's like a quarterback dude on a former quarterback coach on YouTube, and that was a lot of the stuff that he said when he showed it was the drifting. They're like, just set your feet and throw it, and he was just kind of, it was almost like a lock kind of thing, Drew Lock, but it just comes with reps.
Yeah.
He's just gonna get rep after rep after rep after rep to where he already knows where people are at, like even in the pass rush, to where he can just calm down and throw it. And once he starts getting his feet right, it's going to be game over for some of these guys. Essentially, more just because of third down conversions. You're going to think you're going to have him whenever he's going to find a way to get the couple extra seconds, going to find the dude open, or he's going to take off running. I just don't see a lot of 3 and outs with us. And if they are stalled drives, we'll get enough offensive production to put those punts inside the 10-yard line, hopefully. But just reps. He needs reps. I know he has 80. What was it? 86 or how many games did he have? 61 games.
61 starts.
But he has 0 NFL starts. So like it's like starting over. He's got a head start on a lot of other people, but we'll see. We'll see if he can start to get used to it and start settling down and start seeing the game slow down for him. He already talks like the game slows down for him. It's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean that's just credits the experience coming from those 61 starts. He's already breaking down plays, kind of taking what the defense gives him. And you mentioned that the three and outs. You know what else will also? Yeah, definitely we will have the number of three and outs be reduced. You know what else will be reduced? What other stat?
What is that?
Sacks. Sacks.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because I think I forgot how many. I think it was like in the 40s, the number of sacks the Broncos had last year. And
yeah, I used to say Russell Wilson didn't eat a school lunch. He was sack lunches all day.
And I would bet like 85% of those were Mr. Wilson's fault. But again, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Because you see the ball just comes up quick. It's just he sees it, he throws it. So that's good. But yeah, Gary, thank you for coming in with that. We appreciate it. Ooh, we're already at 51 minutes. All right, let's see. We're running close to time here, guys. So let's just kind of peruse the chat here some more to see if we have anyone or if I've missed someone. Got Eric Flynn coming in. Facebook star. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate it, my guy, as always.
What does everybody think of the jerseys? I know this was changed like a while back, but I don't know. There's some stuff I like about it. Some stuff I'm just like, what? Come on. I always tell people it's like when you get the app to design something, but you only want to use the free version. And that's what a lot of these pro teams. I know there's like behind doors. It's like it's something to do with the licensing and all this different stuff, and it makes it really hard for that. And then you have these guys that make these amazing jerseys online, but then Eric was telling me, he's like, yeah, but then if they use those, then they got to pay that person.
Pay that, yeah. Pay it.
And I was like, I don't know. You just don't really see too many jersey switches that are like, whoa, that's really cool. That it's mostly like, come on. I guess it's okay. But
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Well, I guess if you're winning, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just want them to win games. I mean, the new uniform. I mean, I think they're rocking. Are they rocking the combo with the white and then the orange pants tomorrow? I believe that's the combo.
I don't know.
I think that's what they're rocking. Chat, if you know, please state it here. But I believe that's what they're rocking tomorrow. And I actually like I like that combo. So there are some of the combos I don't like. But I actually like that one. All right. There's one or two more here, KB, and then we can wrap it up. I want to get to because Todd asked a very, very good question. And I'm gonna let you take this one first, KB.
Okay.
Who is your breakout candidate for the front seven?
I guess like more like a rebirth candidate. It's just Zach Allen. I'm hoping so much. We need what's it? Oh my God, we need another Derek Wolfe essentially. I think he can be better than Derek Wolfe. I love Derek Wolfe. Derek Wolfe is amazing. But Zach Allen I could see him breaking out for the Broncos. He's already like kind of broke out for the league essentially, but just like showing the fans like why they signed him. So I'm excited to see that one. Yeah,
and I mean I think that's probably the best answer here. Zach Allen. I mean, you could make a case. Well, let me take a step back. I say Zach Allen just because the way the defensive line is structured now, KB, that'll provide more opportunities for Zach
Mm-hmm.
Allen. But I think a dark horse also is JFM.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am still over the moon. Like I've talked about people, that signing, I was so excited when the Broncos traded for him. Like I just like I was ecstatic because he's such a beast on the defensive line, and just think about these opposing offensive lines that have to account for him, DJ Jones, Zach Allen, Roach. It's so there are a lot of opportunities I think now with the addition of JFM that Zach Allen will have opportunities and expect way more production and sacks from the interior from Allen. I think because the opportunities will come his way, Todd, I think he's definitely on the top of the list for the breakout candidate. But yeah, JFM does also can possibly a dark horse or breakout candidate too.
Yeah, that's we were just talking about it yesterday. The Jets being the Jets. They get they get rid of him to make room for Son Reddick, and now they can't sign him. They can't
They don't
extend
want
him.
to sign him. Yeah.
Like, okay. I mean, you're the Jets. Come on.
Yeah.
You know something was going to come up. You need a backup plan. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. And then there's one more in here. Eric Flynn, again from Facebook. I'm just glad that we have a QB and a coach with the same mindset. Absolutely, Eric. Absolutely. I mean, essentially, Bo Nix is Sean Payton out in the field. And that's what Sean Payton wanted in this quarterback. A guy that can be that point guard that can just see the play that happens and distribute the ball effectively. And you're seeing that. You're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that. So again, I love this duo, this QB coach duo. Again, it's encouraging. Obviously, meaningful football games have to be played to really kind of consider this a success. But from what we're seeing in the early makings, KB, I think you can only be optimistic.
Yeah, if you want to see the complete opposite, look at Fangio and Drew Lock. Like, yeah, I'd hope for Drew Lock. He definitely ended up not being as good as we really wanted him to, or maybe just those years with Fangio just ruined his whole mindset. But yeah, they were never on the same page. It was and I mean, why you might as well just cut the guy if you're not going to play him at all. Um, but it's nice to see them like really seem like they like to work together though with Nix and Sean Payton. But yeah, we'll see how it goes in the next game. We'll see if he makes any mistakes. We'll see if he learns from his mistakes. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. And then I want to grab one more question, guys, and then we're going to look at the time here. Yep, Phil coming in with another question. Thank you, Phil. This is a great question, Phil, on Facebook. So, guys, who are the 4 starting wide receivers, and what order will the cornerbacks be in? KB, you wanna take a stab at this one first? Good
Yeah,
question.
starting receivers will be Cortland Sutton. You'll have Reynolds, and you'll have Tim Patrick. They want Mims in there, but he just I don't know. He just doesn't produce enough right now. They don't have anything really worked out for him. Maybe in the season comes along, they'll start putting more packages in for him. But cornerbacks, you got PS2. Riley Moss is going to beat out Mathis. And then you got McMillan in the nickel. The safety, PJ Locke. I'm not sure where Brandon Jones is on his injury. But you always got JL Skinner just waiting on the sideline, waiting to go in. They said he's been playing pretty well as well. Like not where they want him to be like a starter, but more like he's improving. So they said his instincts are getting much better. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's how I got it. So yeah, Sutton, Tim Patrick, Reynolds, and Mims. And then I have Sertan and Moss with Mathis on the outside and McMillan in the slot or in the nickel.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I agree. I think that Mims is interesting. I agree with you on the first three from a receiver standpoint. I want it to be Mims, but again, based on what I've been hearing, at least the latter portion of camp, I know he's had his struggles too. I know he's been frustrated. But I think right now you would probably have him as that fourth guy. Maybe interchangeable with Vele. Maybe 4 or 5 Vele Mims. But yeah, I think that. But I agree mostly. Mims probably that last one corner. Yeah, I think that's it. It's PS2. Raleigh Moss for sure. Because I just think Damari Mathis is trying KB, but I just think it's a little too late for Mathis. He had his time. Too inconsistent.
Good sometimes, sometimes he's a wreck. Yeah.
Yeah, and Moss has come in and been great. Again from what we've seen and heard. So
it's a good fail safe though with Riley being hurt a lot to have a Mathis waiting. He's been for a few years, so he knows the system.
For sure. And again, Phil with the stars, thank you for coming in, Phil. We appreciate it. And then also Eric again, thank you guys so much for the Facebook stars. We greatly appreciate it. We appreciate it. All righty. Let's see. Just kind of looking at the chat to see if I missed anyone. And again, we don't have a producer. Scott's not here tonight, guys. So it's just myself and KB kind of monitoring the chat here. So, if we missed any questions or anything, we apologize. It's just us and Mary. But yeah, we got Todd coming in. Thank you. It says, I like Ron and KB together as a pair. Hope we get more shows with you two again in the future. Good job, man. Thank you, Todd. We appreciate you coming in with that comment, man. Thank you. And it's good. It's good to have you in the chat, Todd. I'll say that too, just because, when I do look over at the comment section, I do see you engaging in some of the side conversations, and some of your questions are actually good conversation starters. And so it's good to kind of have you in the fold, coming in and engaging as well. So, but yeah, thank you, Todd, again for coming in. And then we got
Todd and Roy.
And Roy, you guys are killing it. Thank you, Roy, from Facebook. We appreciate it. And then Phil, what about Wallace? Yeah, Wallace.
Oh yeah, I forgot Levi Wallace.
I didn't forget. Maybe he comes in third. I know he's still injured. So, I guess he probably would be. I say either the second or third KB. I just don't know how this injury is impacting that though.
He's just like insurance for right now, I guess.
Yeah.
While these other guys, hopefully they can hold their weight and they don't really need him at this point in time, but hopefully he can get healthier. I don't know what the timeline is on his injury, but maybe.
Yeah, I need to revisit that as well. I know they probably alluded to what that timeline is, but I can't recall off the top of my head, so I have to get that. But yeah, let's just say, a good question, good point there, Phil. I had Wallace actually starting, prior, like going into the offseason, I actually had Wallace starting. as soon as they signed him, I thought he was going to start at opposite PS2, because we just didn't know about Riley Moss. So when you know Riley Moss, you go with the veteran. But now, again, from what we've been hearing in camp, and again, this game will solidify with Riley Moss kind of sewing up that CB2 spot if he plays well. What do you do with you'd probably still be on the team, but in the event that there's an injury, you still have Wallace there, right? Because I know Riley Moss was just injured last year. So again, hopefully Wallace, comes back, healthy and ready to go if there's an injury going. But yeah, it was kind of hard for me to rank him just because I just didn't know, kind of what that injury was. But yeah, obviously he's probably right at, 2 or 3, kind of interchange Riley Moss and Wallace, 2, 3. Those positions. Yep. All righty.
Oh, we got a late one right here.
Oh, thank you, Todd. Thank you. This is what I mean. See, good conversation starters. Thank you, Todd, with a super chat. You don't want us to leave tonight. What? I still love talking Broncos football, Todd. It's all good. Says, bigger comeback, Javonte or Browning? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to say Javonte.
Okay.
I think, a few reasons. I do think he kind of knows where he stands, because, if he doesn't cut the mustard, Estime's right there waiting in the wings. So I think that's probably going to factor into him maybe having a big season that he kind of has to kind of look behind his shoulders. I think him slimming down some of that weight.
Yeah.
Also, because he did look good last week.
Yeah, he ran somebody over in practice not too long ago.
Yeah. So I think you're getting rookie year Javonte, or at least it's trending that way, Todd, of what we saw his first year in Denver. But again, obviously it all depends on, and I think with that injury, now he'll be 2 years removed, right, from that gruesome knee injury. I think this is his year to kind of pop again and come back. So I'm going to go with Pookie. But that's not to say Browning won't have a good comeback either. I think Browning is due for a big year too. But I just think, given what, the criticism, the under 4 yards a carry last year, I think all of that combined with him kind of looking the part how he did in his rookie year, I think that's set up for a bigger comeback.
Yeah, I'm a Browning guy. I love Javonte. I just think Browning he can affect the game a little more. If he can stay healthy, he's a 14 sack guy. He just can't stay healthy. So if he stays healthy, people around the league are gonna know who he is. But that's what it is just staying healthy. So we'll see what he did in the offseason to take care of his body and recover from everything, and if he's taking it serious with his body and staying in shape. He looks like he's a freak of nature regardless, but you got those guys like the LeBron James and the Russell Wilsons that spend like $1 million in the offseason on their body, and you don't have to spend $1 million, but you should maintain at a certain level of being in shape, so that you can start the season off really hot instead of trying to find your way. And since you're not warm, your body's not warm, you're getting injuries in the process. So I'm excited to see him. I got my fingers crossed he can play all 17 games.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes.
But if he can, double-digit sacks minimum.
Yeah,
10 sacks minimum.
the guy has it, and again, it's just like you said, the availability. You just got to be available. You got to
Mm-hmm.
be out there on the field because I've always the edge group with without Browning, it's been kind of the sum of their parts, but he is that guy that can change the game. So he does definitely have that double stack potential. Um, with the Jonathan Cooper and the Nick Benito, right? I think this. I still don't think there's a premier elite pass rusher on the Broncos roster, KB. But if Browning can get to that double stack, stay healthy and get to that double stack, number,
Mm-hmm.
I think he has the potential to be that or something similar to it. So.
I kind of think he is. Just the contract
Okay.
here is a big thing.
Okay.
I think he's trying to get paid.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So he might maybe something that he wouldn't have played through before. Maybe he will play through this time. I don't know. I think he's here to prove a point, and if he doesn't prove a point this time, he's going to turn into a journeyman guy, and then he's going to be out of the league. So we'll see if he can stay healthy, stay aggressive, affect the game, and have him running through the quarterback's mind every single play, finding out where he's at, and affecting it for his other players too. So when they're looking at him, they don't see Benito coming around the backside, or a Cooper, or a Franklin Myers, or a Zach Allen, or every once in a while DJ Jones right up the middle. So I'm excited to see both those guys, but I think Browning, we need a bigger comeback from Browning.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, that will conclude we're running way over time, but again, thank you guys for coming in with the late chats and questions. We appreciate all of you, as always. Make sure you follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. I am at Ron White NFL, and he is at Kenneth_MHH. And then if you guys have not done so already, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Mile High Huddle, and you like and share across all of the platforms. We greatly appreciate it. Also, we would like to say thank you to all of the people who supported us with stars and chats tonight. We greatly appreciate it. That would be Gary Palmer coming in. Thank you. Todd Alsendorf coming in. Thank you very much. And then we also have Phil and Eric coming in. We appreciate all of you from Facebook. Phil and Eric from Facebook. Sorry. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you so much.
As always, to help us and support us. We greatly appreciate it. Before we get out of here, any last words for Broncos country? KB?
Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. Hang out with the family. Yeah, life is too short. You gotta hang out with your loved ones as much as you can. Enjoy the food for the Broncos game. I think I'm gonna do some wings this time. I'm not sure what sauce I'm gonna use, but I'm pretty sure I'll eat way too many wings. But, be laid up all day after that. But yeah, just everybody have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Thank you, and go Broncos, and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Definitely.